Welcome to a Greater You show here on IntellectualRadio.com. And I'm your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt, and we are the station that feeds your brain. And we are an iHeart station, and you can hear any of our shows or anywhere you get podcasts. You can catch us anywhere there. You can also catch us on YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can catch our shows there. We have shows here at IntellectualRadio.com Sunday through Saturday, mornings, afternoons, evenings, that you can tune into a variety of different host topics. We have relationship shows, spiritual shows, religious shows, comedy shows, community activist shows, political shows, educational shows, fitness shows. So we have a lot of different shows here that you can tune into, and a lot of great hosts. And when you get the opportunity, you can go to YouTube and intellectualradio.com on YouTube. And you can also hit the subscribe button there, as well as hitting the bell there, so you can be notified of all the shows we have going on. And if you do miss any of the shows, you can also, the shows are recorded, so you can always go back to intellectualradio.com, and you can, if you know the title of the show, you put the title of the show in. For instance, this show is like Greater You, and you can type that in, and then that shows the shows that I've done will come up. And that's the same thing with any of the other hosts as well. So a lot of great shows. I'm sure you can learn a lot of things from. I'm Dr. Anthony L. Gantt, and this show here is a self-help show. We do a different topic. So it's a self-help class, a self-help coaching session, a self-help book club, all kind of wrapped into one. And we talk a lot of different things on self-help. And we do a different series. And in that series, we do different sessions on a particular topic. And this series, we're talking about goals. However, before I get started, I'm going to promote someone. And if you'd like to get promoted on any of the shows that I have, you can reach me at fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com. That's fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com. So the person that I am promoting today is Pamela Denise. And whether you are a first-time home buyer, an investor, looking to build your portfolio, or you're purchasing your dream home, Pamela Denise at Exception Realty is who you need to call. She has 24 years of experience and a team that is that's ready, willing, and very capable to assist in all of your real estate needs. You will also get a free consultation by mentioning you heard about Pamela Denise on a Greater You show here on intellectualradio.com. And for more information, you can contact again Miss Pamela Denise at 773-447-8546. That's 773-447-8546. Or you can email at info at keepitmoving.us. That's keep, KEEPITMOV is in Victor, IEING .us. So info at keepitmoving.us. So you can contact her. Very sharp lady in the real estate field. I mean, can give you a lot of good information on it. She's not a person that just hung around for 20 plus years. She actually been doing it for 24 years, and she can share with you how, if you want to get into investing in real estate, she can definitely give you some information regarding that and help you actually build a portfolio for the next few years to help you out in that space. If you want to sell property and maybe you want to downsize some things, or you might want to liquidate some of your investment property to do something else with, she can help you with that as well. So to get on with the show, again, we are in the goals, how to set and get your goals. That's the title of this particular series that we're in. And this is part 4 of this series that we are in. So if you're new to me or new to intellectualradio.com, I always do a recap of the shows that we've done prior to this point, so that you can catch up and may be somewhat aware of where we are, so it won't seem like we're so lost. So what we did in session 1 of this series, we came from lesson 1 from the book, and we talked about the importance of goals and how that you want to be a total life achiever. You want to be an achiever, and there's nothing wrong with being a go-getter, and that how goals are really beneficial and how goals are important to your life. We also stated some things, how your life is big, and a lot of times we don't realize our life is big. We think people that's only popular or celebrities, that they're the only people that have big lives, but your life is big too. And we discussed those things as far as the word achievement or achieve. One part of the word achieve in that word, one facet of that word is chef, the word we get chef in English. And a chef is someone that cooks up food in the back. Could be male or female, but they cooking food, right? And when you are an achiever, a life achiever, you should be cooking up some goals. You should always be in the process of cooking up some goals in your life. This is what makes you a go-getter and also makes you an achiever in life. In session two, we came from lesson 4 in the book, and we pretty much talked about some things of how to live a balanced life, and that it's important that you have goals in every area of your life. And a lot of times, we don't understand how important it is to have goals in every area of our life. We normally have goals in one area of our life. If we need a lot of money or want a lot of money, then we kind of go in that direction, and all our goals are money. $5,000, $20,000, $100,000, $1,000,000, right? So everything has something to do with money. If we may be some people that might be interested in health, we just have goals in health. Lose 20 pounds, gain 20 pounds, get muscle, exercise every day or whatever, right? And none of those things are wrong. Just those are just a couple of areas of your life. So we talked about the areas of your life, and I'm just going to give them to you in a hierarchy. They're not in a hierarchy, just in alphabetical order, just in case you missed one of the shows. And you should have career goals. You should have educational goals. You should have financial goals. You should have health goals. You should have material goals. You should have recreational goals. You should have relationship goals. You should have spiritual goals. Did I say financial goals? Yes, and health goals. And you should also have spiritual goals and volunteer goals. So those again, just in case I kind of went back: career, education, financial, health, material, recreational, relationships, spiritual, and volunteering. So this is why I stated in session 1 how big your life is. You have all these areas of your life, and none of us would say none of those areas are important. Some people that's very highly spiritual, they say, no, it's all spiritual. Everything should be spiritual. And that's important. Spiritual is important, but so is your health. And someone said, well, you need to get your health together. You need to be healthy because, health is wealth. Well, that health is important, but, what good is having health, but then your relationships are going down the drain, right? And, we said, well, you got these great relationships and everything. You've been, relationships with your parents, your children, your spouse, a significant other. You got all these great relationships going on. But then if you never go anywhere, you never go to work or anything on your career or your business, then how's that going to help you, And then what about you? Say, well, I'm always at work and everything. Well, what about your finances? So all these areas are important. You have to volunteer and help the homeless or help the shut in or the people that's seniors or people that have something less than you, right? So you have to volunteer, but you can't spend all your time volunteering because you got other areas in your life. So like I stated in session 2, you have to take your life off this saucer and stop looking at your life as being small. And people that aren't goal getters or go getters, I should say, they're goalless people. They will always try to tell you you're doing too much. You're doing too much. But all of those areas that I just mentioned are important. So what are you supposed to do? Not do anything in 8 areas and just do something in one area? No, you're supposed to be doing something in all areas if you had opportunity. So here's something for you. If you don't have goals in area of your life, then that means you have holes in your life. And if you have holes in your life, that means you don't have goals in your life, right? So here's the reality. If you're in a hole, set a goal. If you are in a financial hole, set a financial goal. If you are in a spiritual hole, set a spiritual goal. If you are in a career hole, set a career goal, right? So you got to set a goal because setting a goal is what helps you get out of a hole that you're in. And here's the reality. Most of us are living in holes because we usually are really good in one or two areas only. So these other areas of our lives are just all jacked up, tore up, burnt up, all that different stuff because we don't have any goals there. So that's some of the things we talked about in session 2. Session 3, we came from the chapter 7 from the book, and we talked about how you had to know how to set goals, right? And that even though you may have written it down on paper and things of that nature, you need to make sure you know how to set them as well. And you know how you have to be specific in what you say that you want. I want a blue car, right? Or I want to weigh 150 pounds or whatever it may be. You have to be a little bit more specific in what you say that you want. So you have to be specific or definite. And if you can't describe it, then you can't have it. You need to define what you want. That's how you get specific in what you want. And then you need to establish what you have. Because the more you establish the goals you have, that will stabilize your life. Excuse me. A lot of times our life is not stable or we're unstable because we don't have goals set in areas of our life, right? So when we start setting goals, it stabilizes our life. See, because something that's unstable is really not very reliable, right? And you don't want to kind of lean on something, put something on something that's not stable because you know it's going to probably fall. If I haven't failed this time, it probably fall next time because it's not stable. And that's the same thing you look at with goals. You have to actually make sure that you have them set in all these different areas so you can have some stability in those areas. And then those are your targets that you're looking to have and looking to accomplish when you have your goals. So those are some of the things we went over. That's quite a bit. It's not really all that we went over much more than that. But again, you can always go back and revisit the show. So here we are in part 4 of the series, and we're going to come from lesson 9 from the book, and we're going to talk about some of the reasons that you need to have. And what happens is, I stated to you once before when we first started this series that life is asking you some questions. Life is always questioning you. And one of the questions it asks you is, what do you want, right? What is it that you want? What is it that you want in your finance? What is it that you want in your recreation? What is it that you want in your volunteer time? What is it that you want, right? And now, since life is not a person, we really just kind of walk through life, not realizing that life is asking us questions every day. So one of the other questions that life is asking us is, why do you want what you want, right? And sometimes you may hear people say, what's your why? What's your why? Especially if you're part of some type of sales program or some type of home-based business, and people are saying, what's your why? What's your why? And it's good to have a why because you need to know why you want what you want. So you need to have reasons. Now, here's the thing. The reason why you need to have reasons, you don't need to have a certain amount of reasons. All you need to have is at least one. Now, here's something else you must understand. Just because you have a reason, let's use an example. You have a reason for your health, right? The reason why I have these health goals, here are the reasons I have these health goals because, I'm trying to live longer. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get rid of diabetes and all these different things, right? So those are my reasons for why I'm working out every day or walking around the block or taking vitamins. That's my reason. However, those reasons are not the same reasons needed for why you want to get your finances in order. You might have some different reasons for your finances that, hey, I'm trying to pay off the car. I'm trying to pay off the house. I'm trying to invest in another house, trying to, do something else with my 401k. I'm trying to actually learn more about certain instruments that help me financially. See, that's totally different. So your reasons there, so you are so totally different than your reasons for your health, right? Now, even though they made it's good that you have your finances and your health, but the reasons aren't the same. So you're going to have to come up with a lot of reasons, right? So the reasons that you have are reliable information. Now, I stated to you in one of the early sessions that a real goal, and this is session 3, a real goal is really a need. See, because we only do the things we feel we need to do to get the things we feel we need to have. If we don't feel we need to have it, then we don't do what we feel we need to do to get it. So if you don't feel you need to have $500, then you won't do what you need to do to get $500. If you don't feel you need to have, to pray, then you won't do what you need to do to pray. I mean, if you don't feel you need to get promoted in your career, then you won't do what you need to do to get promoted in your career. If you don't feel you need a degree or get a certification or learn more, then you won't do anything you need to do, the things you need to do to get that. So this is why a real goal is a need. Now, when you have a need or the needs that you have will birth the reasons that you need to get the goals you have set. So if a lot of times people say, well, I'm trying to use his reason or her reason, right? And whoever, because a lot of this happens a lot when people do group thinking. They're in a group and everybody says, you got to get healthy. You got to get healthy. And, you got to make health your number one goal. Now, health may not be a number one goal to you. That does not mean that you're an unhealthy person. Does not mean that you're a bad person. It's just not on that level for you. So when you ask people like, hey, what's your goals and why you want them? They say, because I got to be healthy because health is wealth and everything. But health is not really that important to you to run around the block 5 times every day. Now, that doesn't mean that you want to do nothing to health. Your health may be doing 10 jumping jacks every day. I don't know. Your health may be doing cutting out salt in your diet. Your health may be doing something else for you. So your reasons for having set goals will help you, or having set reasons are based on you having set goals. If you never have a need to get the goal, then you won't have a reason on why you need the goal. So your needs or your problems, as I stated to you once before, your living in a hole is a problem. I don't know if you ever lived in a hole before. I lived in several holes before, man. I'll tell you, man, I had holes all over my life, right? I tell people I was living a holy life, not HOLY. I was living a holy life, HOLEY. I had holes all over the place, man. I mean, whole in finances, whole in spiritual life, whole in relationships, whole in material things, whole in volunteering, whole in education, holes in health, holes in career. I had holes all over the place. Well, it's kind of hard to travel through life successfully with a bunch of holes in your life, right? So that means that you have to actually put these goals in your life because goals plug holes, right? So when you put these holes in your life and you got these holes, they're going to birth reasons for why you have this goal set because you're tired of looking at that hole and you're tired of your life being torn up and burnt up because of the fact that you don't have a goal there. And usually when you have a torn up area of your life, a burnt up area in your life, it just causes so many problems for you in your life. So if you don't like a lot of problems that you actually done yourself, now keep in mind, in life, this happens to you, happens to me, happens to everyone on the planet. Some things are just out of your control. Some things that just happen have nothing to do with you being a bad person. You didn't do something right. Some stuff in life just happens. And it has nothing to do with you, but it impacted your life maybe in a negative way. It affected you in a negative way. And now you have to kind of deal with it. And you might have to start setting some different goals in a different way. So one of the words with reasons, when people say reasons come first and all this, and then no, the need come first and the reason come after that, right? Now, obviously, when you start living as an achiever, maybe you will come up with more reasons because your reasons could be your resolutions, right? Once you find something that works for you once, this is the beauty of being an achiever, right? And learning how to achieve an area. Anything that you use once, you can also use that again somewhere else. For example, if you use saving $1,000 to get you a couch, you get the couch, you can use that same way of methodology to actually do it again to get a dining room table, right? You can use the same methodology again to save $1,000. It's the same thing. You just applying it to a different area, right? Because you are an achiever. So you always cooking up goals as an achiever. Remember you said achieve, chef, you're a chef, right? You're a life chef. And life chefs cook up goals. They're always cooking up goals. This is why when you meet total life achievers, and this is why I encourage you to get around these people we call go-getters. Get around that group of people because that group of people always got stuff going on. And they're not just going on like they're just walking around here, like not doing nothing. I mean, they always have things going on. And if you get around a few go-getters, you can start having things going on too. And even though you may not be doing the same things they're doing, and they're not doing the same things you're doing, the fact is they're doing something. It's kind of hard to run around and not accomplish things or achieve things when you're hanging around people that achieve things because they will inspire you, instruct you, and encourage you to do things too. So one of the goals some people need to do is actually get around the right people, right? Because every goal you have, and sometimes I should say every goal, many of the goals you have will be inspired by somebody. Like you may have a goal to do something and your children inspire you to do it. You may have the goal to do something and your parents inspire you to do it. You may have a goal to do something and your spouse or significant other inspire you to do it. Or your best friend or a teacher or a co-worker, right? Or a neighbor. So other people could inspire you to actually do some things in your life. This is why I'm an advocate of getting around people that, goal setters and goal getters because these things will help you. Now, one of the words the word reason in the Latin is actually the word that we get in the English called ratio, right? And a ratio in one form of the word ratio is really a percentage, right? And you can look at like a ratio, and it also is the same word that we get called reckon. And reckon means to calculate, right? So your reasons are how you calculate the goals that you want to get, right? So you have a lot of reasons, you need some calculation. So calculate actually is a cousin to the word logic. You got to think. See, now here's the problem with a lot of us. We want goals. We don't want to think why we want them, though. We just want them because everybody should want $1 million. Everybody should want a new house. Everybody should want a new car. Everybody should want whatever, right? But the reality is, if you don't reckon or think for yourself on why you want the goals that you want for yourself, chances are you're probably not going to get them because all you're going to do is regurgitate what someone else said that was important to them. Now, that might have been important to them because that's their goal. and they have their reasons for those goals. However, they may not be your goals, nor would they be your reasons. So you need to understand that your reasons will help answer the question, why do you want it? Now, there's another question that life asks you, and that question is, where are you? Right? And where are you means, see, one thing about goals, goals can tell you where you are located right now, right? Because your holes in your life can tell you, like, you located here. Your goals can also tell you where you want to be, right? Now, that's not saying where you are is bad, but if you're living in a hole, it's probably not good, right? So one of the first goals we need to have, I want to be out of this hole, and I want to be up over there out of this hole. I'm in this hole right now, so I want to be out of this financial hole, which is over there, right? So that's what a goal would show. In real estate, there's a term that's used called location, 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 right? And in life, and being an achiever, there's another that same term is applicable. Location, location, location. In other words, where are you? And where are you going? Right? Where are you going in your finances in the next 6 months, 6 years, 10 years, whatever? Where are you going in your relationships? Where are you going in your education? See, you need to know where you're going. This is why goals are so important. They will help locate you where you are and help locate you where you want to be. So when you know where you are and where you want to be, now that means that what goals actually have done for you has given you some life direction. See, a lot of us don't know where to go, right? We don't know what to do. We don't know which way to go. And you say, well, yeah, you 40 years old, you 50 years old, you 60 years old. You're supposed to know when you've been running around there, blowing through the wind like a tumbleweed in the desert, just blowing around. And you've been doing that for 25 years. Just because you 40 years old, 50, 60 years old, does not mean you know where you're going. You don't even know where you are. You just kind of like go with the wind. Ooh, it go this way, you go. It go that way, you go, right? You like a paper in the wind, right? And paper in the wind just blowing everywhere. The wind blow it, it just moves. It's nothing stable with it at all. Well, when you've been living your life like that for 10, 15, 20 years, even though I may be older, I still don't know where I'm going, right? This is how a lot of us live. So this is why it's important that you set a goal and say, okay, you know what? I done messed up the last 20 years, right? I done just been running around in a circle, right? And what happens is I've been living in the desert. When you live your life without goals in your life, you are putting yourself in the position to live your life in the desert. Now, I've never lived in the desert, seen a couple of pictures and all that stuff, but never lived in the desert. But from what I understand about a desert is that it's really, really dry, right? Woo, it's dry out there in the desert. Don't a whole lot live in the desert, right? And you can't be out there in the desert too long because it might not do you good or be good for you. But the area is dry. When you live your life for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and you don't have goals in any area of your life, what happened? You live this dry and this desert life or deserted life. Nothing is there but sand. Nothing there now it's not sand like on the beach. It's just dry, hot, just exhausting, right? That's what happened in the desert. So when you start putting goals in your life, then your life don't look like a desert anymore. It kind of get refreshed and add some vitality to your life, like I stated to you once before. So now you got this vitality going on in your life because you got all these goals going on in your life. So you're always doing something. So here's another question we need to ask. What are you doing with your life that you have? What is it that you're doing with your life? And it's easy for us to find out what we're doing with our lives when we have goals set in our lives. But when we don't have goals set in our lives, that is like one of the hardest questions to answer. What are you doing with your life? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You 50 years old. You 30 years old. You 20. You're 72. What do you mean you don't know what you're doing? I don't know what I'm doing. What did you do last year? I don't know. What about 10 years ago? I don't know what I was doing. So we need to stop answering life with that answer. I don't know. I mean, what you gonna do in the next year? I don't know. What you gonna do in the next year with your material things? I don't know. What you gonna do next year with your career? I don't know. You just gonna think that you're gonna just go through life not knowing, and then it's kind of hard to be positive. It's kind of hard to be excited. It's kind of hard to be motivated. when you're looking at an old, empty, raggedy life. That's hard to do. That's hard to keep looking at a life full of holes and then be excited about tomorrow. I didn't share with you before. Goals are what you use and what you need to help you lean into the future. And if you're not leaning into the future, you're going to lean back into the past. Now, here's the sad thing about it. If you had this empty desert life over the last 15 years, and you don't want to put goals in to help you out in the next 10 to 15 years, what ends up happening is that you look at this life from the last 10 to 15 years, and you just get uninspired. You get depressed, frustrated, all these different negative emotions arrive because for 15 years in a row, I've done nothing. And the way it looks on the next 15 years, I don't plan on doing nothing else. That's how some of us live our lives, right? So we have to start saying, you know what? I may have done nothing the last 15 years. Man, my 20s might have been tore up. So my 30s probably was tore up. My 40s tore up. But my 50s almost tore up. Well, you know what? 60s don't look that good either. So we got to put goals in there so we can lean into the future, because goals will make the future look better than the past, regardless of how good or bad your past looks. But if you don't put any goals into your future so you can lean into your future, you're going to always talk about your yesterday. You're going to always talk about high school. You're going to always talk about college. You're going to always talk about when you were in your early 30s. You're going to always talk about, the best time of my life when I was 10 years old, right? That's what you're going to always talk about because you haven't achieved any goals. So we need to change that, right? We need to change that by having set goals and at the same time having set reasons. Because I just shared with you, the needs or the goals that you have will birth the reasons that you need to get the goals you have set. So if you don't have any needs, and we all do, because a goal is nothing but really a need or a problem, and a problem that you have is waiting on you to set a goal so you can solve the problem that you have. If you have any type of problem in your life, it is helping you birth reasons. Maybe you have a problem with your weight, right? And the doctor said, listen, you don't get this together, you're going to be in trouble. We're taking a whole leg. A whole leg, doctor? A whole leg, that one right there. And they said, now we're going to give you about 6 months, get this stuff together. Now, if you said, man, forget them, man, I'm not worried about them, and you don't change your ways and don't set a goal to start doing some things different with your health, and 6 months later, a year later, they're going to say, hey, you're going to say bye-bye to it, right? Not because you're a bad person, because maybe you didn't have a health goal, right? And I'm not trying to make light of people in those situations. I'm trying to share with you that we can't live our lives waiting on, being almost in destitute in areas before we set goals. Because the truth of the matter is, when you're 20 years old or so, for the majority of people, you might have some challenges. Don't get me wrong, because all of us have challenges growing up. However, when you're about 40 years old, the challenges you had the last 20 years probably don't even match the challenges you had in the first 20, right? Because of the fact that now you have seen more damage take place because of some things that you've done to yourself. Like I shared with you once before, that sometimes we start our own fires in our life, right? So we run around putting out all these fires, and all we did is fires in our life, and our whole life is in this stress-related life, just putting out fires. So we don't even know how to do anything other than run around and put fires out. They say they're gonna leave me. They're gonna leave. If I don't get my stuff together, they're gonna leave me by next week. I got to get my stuff together. So I put out the fire, and they stay around an extra week, right? Or they gonna say they're gonna take it, or we're gonna turn it off. So I do what I need to do to keep it on, or keep them from taking it, right? But then the next month they take the car anyway, right? So these are the type of things we do because we don't develop this habit of saying, I am going to be a life chef. In other words, I'm going to be a go-getter. In other words, I'm going to be an achiever. In other words, I'm going to have goals in every area of my life so I can have all these goals going on all the time. Because I shared with you earlier in this session, some things in our life happen out of our control. Life sometimes will make you change your direction. Sometimes it had nothing to do with you, but you have to change your direction. You got to change your routine. You got to change a bunch of things you're doing because some things in life just happen. It had nothing to do with you. But if you're not a go-getter, when things change, you'll probably quit. And this is why the reasons that you have for the goals that you have set are so important. They're going to be the primary that you will use to keep you involved in trying to achieve the goals that you have set. Because trying to achieve goals you have set, let me just make it this plain for you. It's not that easy. Every day is not one of these, hey, I can't wait, I can't wait. Some days you're like, man, what's taking so long? Why does it take me so long to get this done? Why does it take me so long to get that done? Right? And some days that's how I go. Some days you want to quit. Now I know some of you all Mr. Positive, Mrs. Positives and everything. Y'all never want to quit. But I ain't walked in this life, a few years. And some days like, man, I'm done. I don't forget this stuff, man. I'm not trying anymore. Some days it was like that. But your reasons is the reasons that you have is what will help you stay in the game. Because you got these reasons. Because again, I share with you, sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's, you want to do this for your children. Sometimes you want to do this for your parents. Sometimes you want to do this for your spouse or significant other. Sometimes you want to do this for the neighborhood. So the reasons that you have would say, you know what? I know it's raining outside, but you said you was going to go ahead and lose those 5 pounds, right? You trying to get healthy. You trying to keep both your legs and your arms, right? You trying to keep body parts, right? So you saying, oh, you know what? I know it's raining, but the reason why I'm out here doing this exercise is because of the fact that I want to stay healthy, right? The reason why I'm not going to go out there and spend that money on that is because I said I want to save for my, invest in my retirement. The reason why I said that, I'm a, go ahead and study tonight is because I said to myself, the reason I had to get this degree and everything, and it might have been for my mom or dad. I'm going to get this degree because my mom and dad will be proud of me. Nothing wrong with that. It might be for your children. I'm going to get this degree because my children will be proud of me. It might just be, hey, I'm going to get this degree because I always wanted one. Now I'm 47 years old. I stopped going to school at 20. And, I decided I'm going to go back and I'm just want to get it because I want to get it. The reason is I just want to finish. Right? That may be your reason. So when they start saying, well, you got to do your classes online, you're like, but I don't know how to get on the computer. Right? Well, because you have this reason to get this degree, you learn how to get on the computer because that's the reason that you have. So, and life would change up. They say, hey, the school building closed right now. You got to do everything online. Well, because you have these reasons, you make the adjustments that you need to make because the reasons that you have are really strong. Now, I shared with you in session 3, I said that, the goals, when you set a goal, it's like putting a stick in wet cement. And when you put a stick in wet cement, once the cement dry, it's hard to get that stick or that pole or whatever you stuck in that wet cement. It's hard to get that out of there, right? You got to really just tear up all the cement in order to get that out now, right? So here's what the wet cement is for you as a goal achiever. The wet cement are the reasons that you have. The reasons that you have is the wet cement that you need so you can set the goals that you have. Your goals are going to be set in your reasons. You show me your reasons, and you show me what goals you have set, they're going to go together. That's why your life will be stable. And that's why people won't be able to get you off course and say, well, you don't need to go out there and get another degree. You don't need to buy another investment. When people start talking to you like that, then you start realizing you're a goalless person, right? They live their life on the saucer, not a platter like you, right? Because your life is a lot. I share that with you every session. Your life is a lot. There's a lot going on in your life that you need to tend to. Well, when you have these reasons, this is what answers your why, and this is the answer to the other question, where are you going? And you need to ask yourself that question all the time, not just on January 1st, not just on December 31st. You get that question all the time. Where are you going? Or where are you? Where are you right now? And if you're in a bad place, hey, it's okay. You got to tell yourself the truth because, see, the truth of the matter is everybody on the planet, you live in your truth, whether you announce it or not. And the truth that you live in is your reality, right? And your reality and your truth are one and the same. So if your problem or your situation or where you live is real, that means when you set goals, those things are real too. And what you're doing, you're trying to make your reality different or better by having goals in it. And now, again, you may say, I got a decent life. I'm doing pretty well in life. That's fine, but you still need a goal, right? See, and this is what hurts us sometimes. We in kind of one or two extremes. Either we haven't done nothing for 10 years. We said, why am I going to set goals? I'm 61 years old. I'm old. I don't need to set goals. Or we in this other extreme. I've done well in my life. I did well. I got a little money in the bank or whatever. I don't need to set goals. I've done well the last 3 years. Guess what? If you should be here the next 3 years, it's a good idea to have some goals. If you should be here the next 10 years, it's a good idea. You should have some goals. Whether you've done well or you haven't done well the last 3, 5, 10 years. Goals are needed if you want to be an achiever in life because you are a life achiever, at least you should be. And then that means you should always be cooking up some goals. Always. See, this is why this is why the realities of some of us look so terrible and we don't want to change them. We just said the reality is bad and I'm gonna see how bad it can get. Right? I mean, it's already ugly. Let's see can it get uglier. Now, if something already ugly, something already bad. Now let's look at this logically, right? I don't know if I want it to get uglier, right? I don't know if I want it to get worse just because it's already bad. What's normally happened for most of us, we say, you know what? I want to see can I get this better? Maybe I can make it less ugly. Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's already ugly. Maybe we can get less ugly, right? Maybe we can get not as bad as it is. But see, the better you get at having goals, then the better you will get out of ugly situations. And that's regardless of what area of your life that you may happen to be in. And the better you get at that, then the better you put yourself in those situations. So here's something for you too, right? Because again, that's your reality. So something that we might need to ask people like, can you have unrealistic goals? And the answer is a yes and a no, right? I'll start with the no first. No, you ain't. Every goal can be a realistic goal. Every goal you have can be realistic. What usually make a goal unrealistic is the time that you need to get it. Here's an example. You want to be a millionaire, right? Because the beginning of the year, the end of the year, you say, you know what, I'm tired of this life. I make $10,000 a year. I'm tired of this, right? I'm going to make $1 million this year. Watch and see. Now, the question is, can you earn $1 million in a year? The answer is yes, you can, right? You only need to make about $2,740 a day. That's all, right? And you do that every day, pretty much, you know, you can earn $1 million in a year. Now, keep in mind, you only earned $10,000 last year. And you don't even know how you did that, right? So you got to learn some stuff, and it may take you more time. Now, it may take somebody else, they can earn $1 million in a month based on what they do, right? But it may take you 5 years to earn $1 million. It may take you 10 years to earn $1 million. However, it's not so much how quickly you can get the goal. So here's what we do. This is how we make goals that we want. We make them unrealistic because we overestimate what we can do in a long term frame and underestimate what we can do in the short term. Here's what I mean. Like I use that example. Yeah, you can earn $1 million. It may take you 10 years though. It's still $1 million, right? But because we used to living so desperate and living so stressed out, putting out fires, we need everything right now. I can't wait no 6 months to lose no 50 pounds, man. I need to lose 50 pounds by Friday. And what's today? Wednesday. I need to lose it in 2 days. You need to lose 25 pounds a day in 2 days? I don't know how you're going to do that. But you can lose a pound a week for 50 weeks. That's too much time. That's too long. I can't wait no whole year. I got my family reunion coming up in 3 months. I can't wait a whole year. I got my class reunion coming up in a few months. I can't wait a whole year. Summertime coming. I got to get my summer body on. So when did you know about summer next year showing up? You know about that last year? So you could have lost a pound a week. And by the time summertime came up next year, guess what? You lost your 50 pounds. But because we live so desperate and we always living so putting out fires, we don't realize we'll overestimate that. So now we're going to be in the health club. We're going to take off days from work. We're going to see the family for a couple of weeks in a row because we're going to run up mountains. We're going to do all types of stuff, right? Because we got to lose this weight in record-breaking time. But the reality is that's when we make goals unrealistic is because, yeah, you can lose the weight. Yeah, you can earn the money. Yeah, you can do these different things. But because you're trying to do everything by the weekend, we don't realize that time is important and your goals need to work with time. If it takes a lot of time, yeah, can you get a college degree in about 4 years or 2 years or 3 years, 5 years, whatever? Yeah. Can you get a college degree in a week? No, right? That's not how it works. But I need to get a college degree next week because I get this promotion. No, you got to go take some classes. You got to get some credit hours. You got to do all these different things. So this is when we start making goals unrealistic based on not measuring them up with time. So if you don't measure your stuff up with time and trying to get everything right away, then you're going to probably make most goals that you could get in a certain period of time. You're going to probably make them unrealistic goals. And now you're going to get a bit more frustrated because you didn't become a millionaire, within 2 months. You didn't lose your 100 pounds within 13 days. You didn't get all these investment accounts. You didn't get married by the end of the week. All these different things didn't happen to you, right? You know, you didn't end up owning the company. You just started working there Friday, but you want to own the whole company, right? All these different things happen. Now, can you get promoted in the company and get to manager and all that, or eventually own your own business? Yeah. Can you do that by Friday and you started on Monday? No, you can't do that on that way because you're not giving it enough time. So when you have goals, you can make a real good goal, an unrealistic goal, because you don't know how to measure it with time. So here's something that you need for it. I already shared with you that you need to have set goals, right? And you should make a list of set goals. Have this list of all these set goals that you have. But then you should have a list of the set reasons you have for the set goals. Now, see, somebody said, man, that's too much work. And I won't do all that work. And I understand that. But, you know, based on how important your goals are to you to have, then maybe this is some of the stuff you do. Now, on your goal list, here's something you want for you, right? Now, I'm just going to use these numbers. You can change these numbers if you like. But if you make your goal list, you got this goal list, 20 goals that you want, right? And by each goal, put a number by it. 1, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30, right? And those numbers in this example will represent years, right? So when you put these numbers by these things, right, here's what you'll notice. Now, if you got a bunch of ones, everything is 1 year, and you don't have anything that's 10 years, 20 years, or anything like that, then that means that you want everything right now, and you're probably going to have a bunch of unrealistic goals, and you're probably going to stress yourself out unnecessarily because of the fact that you're not giving time to some of these things. If you have a bunch of 20, everything is 20-year goal, I'm going to get a degree, that's going to be 20 years. I'm going to save some money, that's going to be 20 years. Yeah, everything is 20 years out, then you're probably going to procrastinate a lot, right? Because of the fact that you put everything off for 20 years from now. So some goals, you're going to have these goals fall into pretty much two categories: short-term and long-term. Goals are short-term goals, but you can't have a long-term goal be a short-term goal. Like I just said, you can't have a short-term goal of something in 6 months and say, I'm going to go ahead and get a 4-year degree in 6 months, and you have no college credits at all, no life credits at all, none of that, but you're going to get your 4-year degree, 120-something credits, in like about 6 months. Probably not going to work out too well, right? So that may be a long-term goal to get a college degree, using that for an example. Well, a short-term goal would be get, I don't know, do 2 classes every quarter or something like that. Two classes every semester, right? So that's a short-term goal, to do these 2 classes, because these short-term goals, in most cases, are connected to long-term goals. So this is why people have a hard time. They don't have long-term goals, nor do they have short-term goals. So every goal they're going to make it a now goal, right? Everything going to be now, right? And nothing wrong with getting up off the couch and doing something now, but everything you can't have right now. You can start working on it right now, but you can't have it right now. So you need to understand this thing with dates, right? And here's an example for you. I start in my life, because I've been in goal setting for quite a few years, right? A few decades. And so when I share this stuff with you, it's the same stuff I do myself. So I know how it works and how it can work. So I realized after a while, I stopped giving myself like a target date of, August 1st. I got to do it by August 1st. I started giving myself within dates, because what I found out with myself, and I found this out with several people too, is that sometimes when you don't get the thing by a certain date, then we get kind of frustrated. It didn't happen by February 1st, so forget it. It didn't happen. A lot of times people, if I don't get married by the time I'm 30, forget it. All these different things, right? So I start giving myself what I call within dates. I want to achieve that within 3 years. I want to achieve that within a year, achieve that within 10 years, achieve this within, 30 months, right? Whatever it may be. So if what I found, sometimes I achieve those things before 3 years, but another time I achieve those things in 4 years. But what happened is, see, if it took me longer than 3 years, I didn't beat myself up anymore. Because, hey, I'm still going to achieve the goal. It's just, instead of February 1st this year, it's going to be February 1st next year. I'm still going to work to achieve it because I still want it part of my life. Same thing with your goal. Okay, you didn't lose all the weight before your class reunion, but you still want the weight off, right? Yeah, I still want the weight off. Okay, you may get down to that size 3 months after the class reunion. So what? It didn't happen by June at the class reunion. It happened by September. The fact is, you still lost the weight. You still at the size you want to be, right? That's the objective, because this is your life and these are your goals. Just because you've seen those people on one weekend and you weren't the same size you were when you graduated out of high school when you was a size 4, right? You had a couple of babies and everything, life and kind of, happened and everything. So, just because you're not a size 4 still don't mean that you can't get to your desired weight, even if it happens 3 months after the class reunion. Because even if it does happen 3 months prior to the class reunion, it still happened within a certain period. This would help me kind of achieve more goals in my life when I had these within dates and everything did not have to happen December 31st or by the end of the year or by the end of the month. Some things could actually happen after the end of the month. Why? Because some things in life happen. Some things in your life may change. So I have these things called dates, these 3 dates that I use for myself. And you can take the same thing and use it for you too. Now, I found for myself that just because you get an idea for a goal doesn't mean that you're going to start working on the goal. So these 3 dates all start with C. And you have a conceived date, right? This is the day you get the idea for the goal. You conceive the goal. Like, you know what? I think I want to get me, I don't know, new pair of shoes, whatever, right? So, but now you didn't have that goal yesterday. You just conceived of the new house. You conceived of getting involved in a relationship. You conceived, going to somebody's church, whatever, right? You conceived the idea, I want to get more spiritual, right? But you're not going to work on it yet, right? It's not that you're bad. You just conceived it, right? Well, the next date that I had was a commence date, the date that I start working on trying to accomplish the goal, right? Because you can conceive it on this date, but not actually commence to work on it a month later, 2 months later. And see, this is what hurts people when they do goal sessions. People say, write down all your goals. And then, you might write down some things, and some things you just conceive. Yeah, I need a bigger house, or I need a new, living room set, right? And you don't really need a new living room set. You just tired of the one you have because you had 5 years, right? You just want a different color and all these different things, right? So you have this conceive that, yeah, I want a living room set. So now you start commencing to do the work on that, which may be 3 months later. It may be 2 months later. It may be a year later, right? It doesn't mean that you're bad just because you didn't start working on it right then. Because you got this big old life, right? You got your career, you got volunteer, you got your health, you got your finances, you got your spiritual life, you got recreational, you got relationships, material life, health. You got all these different things in your life going on. So since you got all these different things, everything don't take first position just because you thought of it today, right? So you conceive it, then you commence working on it, and then you complete it. So these are the 3 dates I have. So you can do this with a notebook and have your little notebook with all your goals, and then you can have this conceived date. I conceive this thing on this date. Now, then you start looking at, now you have these things separate, like I shared with you before. You have one of the sheets of paper, you may have all your career goals on it. And it may be 2 career goals, it may be 22. It doesn't matter how many you have, as long as you have some. Then you have another sheet of paper with all your educational goals on it. And then you have another sheet of paper with all your financial goals on it. And then another sheet of paper to all your health goals, and so forth and so on in all the areas, right? Now, what you start realizing, you may start conceiving a whole lot of goals, and you realize in some areas, not only do you conceive them, but then you commence to start working on them in that area. Some areas you won't complete them. But then some areas you'll conceive it, commence to start working on it, and then you'll even complete those goals, right? Now, see, this is how you start monitoring your life if you want to be an achiever, right? You start seeing where you're getting out of balance. Like, you know what? Over here in this area, over here, my health, man, I conceive a goal, I commence to work on that goal, and I complete those goals, right? But then over here we just say in your finances, you conceive them, but you never start working on them, right? Doesn't mean you're bad. But then you look over here in your career, you conceived it, and then you commence to work on them, but you didn't complete them. Then you go looking into your education, you say, man, I think I conceived 1 or 2 goals. I didn't conceive too many of anything over there. Well, this is how you start monitoring your life. And guess what? It's a lot more work. It's a lot more work than just trying to pump you up and all these things, get you all fired up and excited and everything. It's a lot more work that's involved with being an achiever. It's a lot more work to being in the kitchen of life, so to speak, cooking up some goals. There's a lot more work involved with that. However, after a while, you'll start realizing you'll start achieving more and more goals. And then people say, man, you achieve goals over there. Oh, wow, you achieve goals over here. But it seems like everything you're doing, you're just achieving goals. It's not so much that when you have, let's just use a hypothetical with numbers. If you had 10 goals in every area that I mentioned, which is 9 areas, that's 90 goals, right? If you start commencing to work on 90 goals over the next 3 years, and let's say you have good, and you could accomplish or achieve 45 of them. Do you know the average person don't achieve 45 goals in no year, 5 years, 10 years? If you ask the average person how many things have you achieved in the last 5 years, trust me, a lot of them wouldn't even get the double figures. So if you had 10 goals you had in your health that you wanted, and 10 in your relationships, and 10 in your recreational, right? Then you had all these goals, 10 volunteer goals. And in 4 or 5 years, you achieve half of them, 45. Do you know how much achievement that is? It'll get you fired up. It'll get you inspired. Because see, goals in and of themselves will inspire you. They'll get you excited. But the reasons will keep you motivated. And then now you can go beyond all these different things going on in your life so you can keep cooking up goals. Hey, your money might be tight right now, but you did lose some weight. Hey, right? Oh, wow. You know, you can't get out there and run. It's the winter time. But you know what? You did get more educated. You did take 2 classes. Oh, wow. You got a certificate in that. Oh, wow. That's good. Oh, you can't take certificates and everything. You don't have the money to pay for the class. But guess what? You did get promoted on the job, or your business did better, right? Certain things happen. Hey, you know what? You can't get promoted on the job. Maybe, you know, the job just not promoting people right now, and the business just kind of stagnant. That's okay. But you know what? Man, you went out there and you fed homeless people every week for the last 50 weeks. You know how many homeless people you fed? And you got 5 or 10 of your friends to help you feed some of these people. See, you didn't do that the year before, but you always achieving these goals because you got all these things going on that's positive in your life. It's a lot to be an achiever. You can be an achiever. It's a lot, right? It's easy. It's more to it than, you know, going to sleep, writing something on paper, looking at it 3 times, you know, putting your hands on it, praying over, and walking away thinking everything done. No, you got to do some work. You got to do some work. And I know that's not attractive to a lot of people that don't want to work. But I know it's really attractive to people who say, you know what? I don't mind working for the goals that I have set. I don't mind having better relationships. Now, here's something else. Okay, my time's running short. Here's something else. Like with relationship goals. Those goals are a little bit different than some of the other goals because you're in relationship with somebody else. So you're going to have to actually, some of your relationship goals, and I didn't realize this when I was younger, right, doing things. I have a relationship goal, but, you know, my goal for the relationship, I never shared it with the other person I was in a relationship with, right? So then I'm kind of upset, like, hey, how come you're not doing what I'm doing, right? Well, you know, in order to have a relationship goal with some people, and it could be a significant other, it can be a spouse, it can be children, it can be parents, it can be friends, it can be relatives, that it's good to kind of like some of those goals you might have to plan with them, right? You may have to plan with your spouse, you know, having a goal to go travel around the world, right? You just can't say, I'm traveling around the world and say, when you going to tell me, right? Where we're traveling, right? So you might have to do these goals a little bit differently than some other goals. So, oh, wow, I said a whole lot. So my time is about running out. So let me I'm promote this lady one more time before I close out, do a recap. If you're looking for some type of doing something with real estate, you got your credit together and want some things in real estate. So you should contact Miss Pamela Denise. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, an investor, looking to build your portfolio, or you're purchasing your dream home, Pamela Denise at Exception Realty is who you need to call. She has 24 years of experience and a team that is ready, willing, and very capable to assist you in all your needs, all your real estate needs. You will also get a free consultation by mentioning you heard about Pamela Denise and Exception Realty on the Greater You Show. For more information, contact Pamela Denise at 773-447-8546. That's 773-447-8546. Or info at keepitmoving.us. That's info, I-N-F-O, at keep, K-E-E-P, I-T-M-V as in Victor, I-N-G.us. Info at keepitmoving.us. So you can give her a call or reach out to her. You want to kind of get your stuff together in the real estate side, she can definitely help you put some things together. Whether you're downsizing or trying to up your investments or just buy your first home, she can help you. So let me do a recap of the day. So we talked about how you have to actually have reasons for your goals and the needs or the problems that you have or the goals that you have, but birth the reasons that you need to get the goals you have set. So if you don't have needs, you don't make those goals real needs, or if you do have them, they'll birth these reasons that you need to get these goals you have. We also talked about, you know, making your goals are real, your needs are real. So that means that the needs that you have are real. That makes the goals that you have real. that means that you're trying to have a better or a different reality than the reality that you have right now. Not saying your reality is bad, but you're just trying to have a better or different reality in the future. We also talk about measuring your time, right? You have to measure your time. You don't want to overestimate what you can do in a long time and underestimate what you can do in a short time. You don't want to overestimate what you can do in a short time and underestimate what you can do in a long time, right? So you don't want to try to have all your goals, a goal that would take you 3 years to do. You're trying to do it in 3 days, right? Because you putting yourself in a bad situation to create too much unnecessary stress on your life. So you want to make sure that you have a conceived date, of commence date, and a complete date, right? So you want to know, and you want to keep monitoring your life. That's why you have these lists of goals. And you can keep adding on to your goals as often as you want to, because there's no time limit on when you can get them. If you get them early, fine. If it takes you 6 months later than what you thought, that's fine too. The point is, the goal that you have in your life is there for your life to help you become a life achiever, a total life achiever. That is, have goals in every area of your life so that you can actually achieve in every area of your life. So first, I want to close by saying that I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to share with you on how to get set and get your goals. I really do appreciate that opportunity. And keep in mind that great people like you were born great. However, when you start working on yourself, you can become a greater you. And I'll see you next time.